belonging to Square. This is where New Yorkers would trade and stable their horses. You look onto your left, the Prudential sign, and then underneath it says HSBC. You guys can see that sign in a few moments. It's about 5 left up on 47th Street. There's going to be a face on that sign. Denise Prudential, HSBC. Do you see the face up there now?
Or Times Square, you ought to say.
I'm taking Times Square.
On that sign too. If you walk over to the Times Square Visitor Center, which is on 7th Avenue. Its architect is William Van Allen. William Van Allen was in competition with another architect by the name of H. Craig Severance. He was building a building on Wall Street. It's 40 Wall Street. It says Trump on it now, but it was originally called the Patent Company. He then had the construction workers push the spike up the middle of the building until he had the tallest building in the world. The record only lasted 1 year because the Empire State was completed in 1931. And look to your right, there's the Empire State Building again. Up is the main branch of New York Public Library.
About to get
Freedom and democracy. And then we're going to get out from under the depression area. So you see the state we're starting to see the Empire State Building one more time. That limestone portion is the 86th floor.
Empire State Building.
10 billion bricks.
It's the jerkiest drive.
On top of it, the morning map. 1,240 feet. And above that, the mother of Winston Churchill. To the left of that, the old pyramid top, that's the New York Life Insurance Company building built in 1928 by Cass Gilbert. That was the site of the first and second Madison Square Garden. And over here, this park on the left, therefore, is called Madison Square Park. Now, going back to the Flatiron Building, 23rd Street is a very windy corner. And in the early 1900s, women had dresses down to their ankle. The wind would blow the dresses up in the air and all the men. Well, we do get to the corner 23rd, so here's the aerial bridge on your right. Up there on your right. When we get to the corner 23rd,
only a few of these aerial bridges are left.
It's William Seward. He was President Lincoln's Secretary of State. He got the United States the Alaska.
Seward's Folly.
The sculpture. After he did that, head of William Seward, that's short of money. And in his sculpture gallery, he had the body of President Abraham Lincoln. So he took the head of Seward, put it on the body of President Lincoln, and that's how we solve problems here in New York City. Fifth Avenue. And Fifth Avenue divides.
This is the Flatiron Building up close.
All the avenues to the right of the bus stop. One left and work their way to the Hudson River.
Downtown. The original building.
Sixth Avenue to our right. That's where we have the Cuban Way that didn't release the world, which is going back to the 1940s and 50s. But after that, there's going to be a blue awning. It's called Village Star. It's for body piercing and tattoos. We'll stop the bus. We'll pull over and wait for anybody that wants a body piercing or tattoo. Any volunteers? Not a one. Look to your right, the blue awning, Village Star number 182. If you want to come back on your own, you don't have to tell myself or Marvin about it. If you remember the Fantastics was the longest running off-Broadway play in history, around 42 consecutive years. And if you don't remember the Fantastics, you know, Jerry Orbach from Law and Order, his career started in the Fantastics around the corner here on the right on Sullivan Street. So in about maybe 10 seconds, we're starting with the dark blue awning Tower Blues over here on your left with this staircase. Real nice blues club, and here's the bitter end right here on the left. Now I believe we're going to make a right on LaGuardia Place, named from there, Fiorello LaGuardia. And when we make the right, I'm going to ask you to look to your right at a flagpole. There's no flag on it. It's one level above street level. Please look to the right of the flagpole, and on the windowsill there's an owl. The owl's up there to chase pigeons away, and the newer owls have batteries in them, and the head goes left, right, left, right, left, right, and the eyes light up to chase the pigeons away. There on your right. It is Houston, named after Charles Houston, who's a delegate from the state of Georgia who attended the Continental Congress. And as we cross Houston, we're now in Soho, south of
We're now in Soho.
community of design and clothing shops, and art galleries, furniture
We
galleries.
came here and we went to
A
Ireland.
cast iron buildings were in a factory. They would have a mold. They would pour hot iron in these molds, bring the frame, well, they form a frame, bring the frame into the city, put buildings together like an erector set. We're going to try to show you some examples. They did it because it was cost efficient. If you're going to be here Saturday and Sunday, this street, which is West Broadway, New York has a Broadway, an East Broadway, and a West Broadway, and they never meet each other. So West Broadway, south of Houston, north of Grand, you'll find hundreds of vendors here on vendors, no telephones, no answering machines, no tape recorders, no CD players. When you get back to your hotel room to plug it in or put batteries inside, you found you put a plastic case, there's nothing inside. As far as the CDs, well, in the United States, pirating is against law. I personally know nothing about it. The quality's excellent. As far as the handbags, you know, about 75% of the women walking around New York City, Louis Vuitton, Burberry, Prada bags, they bought them from the handbag dealers on the street. They'll try to sell them to you at $30, $40, $50. You're able to get as close to 20 as you possibly can. We're going to make a left here on Spring Street on the corner store, the yellow one, diagonally on the left with the green awning. It's called Morgenthau. If you can look through the front door, he's closed today, but you might be able to see Nipper, the RCA dog. Remember Nipper used to sit in front of the speaker of the Victrola listening for his master's voice? Look through the front door on your right, there's the Nipper.
There he is.
On Spring Street, named for that, for the fact that there was a spring here one time. In this gray building on your left with the women's shoe store, this is a cast-iron building with a high wide window. The high wide windows attracted artists and sculptors so they could do their work in the sunlight got into their studios. You come back here to shop. So we try back side streets down here, but there are churches, synagogues, restaurants, hotels, and many people living here in the Tribeca area. Actually, there's one building on there. Someone shows up with a van. In the van was a bomb. They parked the van under one of the 6 original buildings. The bomb was supposed to bring down one tower, so it fell on the other. 50 feet wide, 6 people died on that tragic day. When the FBI gets the van, actually came back and said someone in the city stole the van. They wanted their $100 deposit back.
They're on top of that building.
That's where George Washington was sworn in as the first president of the John Quincy Adams Ward. Right there on your left, where Washington with the oath of office.
She took the oath of office, and they're here in the World Trade Center.
Right here in the cemetery of Trinity Church. That's where Alexander Hamilton is buried, the first Secretary of the Treasury. He was the founder of the Bank of New York. That's on your left, number 1 Wall Street. He was a publisher of the New York Post, the newspaper that publishes till this very, very day. Now, the most narrow street that I know of in New York City is the